So where is vibrato on the hierarchy of techniques? When we look at our hierarchy of techniques, we could place vibrato in the style category because there's lots of different styles of vibrato, and there are several different ways we can play it, several different techniques to match the style of the music. You're probably going to play vibrato differently in Corelli than you are in Rachmaninoff. Some people argue that when you play Bach, you probably shouldn't play vibrato at all. I don't know if I would make that argument. In fact, I have my students play with vibrato in Bach because we're not a period orchestra, but we'll leave that discussion for another time. So then, where is vibrato? Is it in intonation, pitch? Well, vibrato does affect your pitch, and it can affect the way students tune, so it could be there. Where I place vibrato is in the tone category because it's part of our basic technique and it's part of something that affects the core of our sound. Yes, it has an impact on our intonation. Yes, it has an impact on our style, but tone in general has an impact on intonation and style. So that's why I place it in the tone layer of the hierarchy. If students are unable to vibrate the string, it's 100% a technique problem, not an intonation problem, not a style problem. Something is going wrong in that student's technique, and we need to be able to break that technique down and figure out where the problems are, deconstruct it, and then put it all back together with the correct technique. It is my belief that students should be taught vibrato fairly early on, definitely within their beginning year of playing. And the reason for this is it kind of adds accountability to the technique. So think about Dr. Suzuki. The first bowing style that Dr. Suzuki teaches is collet bowing. And it took me a while to figure out why somebody would do that, because it's maybe not the most used technique overall. Like, why didn't he start with a brushstroke or something? And then I'm pretty sure it's because you cannot play collet unless you have a bent thumb and curved pinky. So that's why he starts everybody off with that direction. Well, I think vibrato's kind of the same way. It has its own built-in accountability too. If students aren't able to vibrate, probably means they don't have a good left hand shape. It might mean that they're squeezing too much. There's problems in there for you to look for and solve. So developing vibrato early on is going to create more accountability and technique. A middle school non-varsity orchestra can probably go to contests and get a sweepstakes trophy without using any vibrato. That's just the reality. So from a contest point of view, there might not be the incentive to teach those techniques. But then you have to think later on down the road, when they're getting into the advanced middle school groups or when they're getting into the high school groups, if they still don't have vibrato, I'm not sure that the judges are going to extend them the same courtesy of giving them a first division rating if they're not using vibrato by the time they've reached those levels of ensembles. Done correctly, teaching vibrato can solve a lot of other technical problems, and the earlier we do it, the better it's going to be for our students, within reason, not day one. But we don't want to wait years to learn vibrato because there's going to be years of bad technique. So I encourage you to teach vibrato earlier in your sequence and get your students to start learning good left-hand technique.